All right, today we're diving into the pretty incredible story of a young woman's choice to just leave everything behind for a life of devotion back in the late 19th century. And what's so powerful about this is that it's her story, told completely in her own words. It's a really raw look at sacrifice, at suffering, and, well, some pretty unexpected joy.
So our guide for this journey is her own personal memoir, and we're zooming in on the exact chapter that changed her life forever. We're essentially stepping right inside the mind of someone who's on the verge of this absolutely monumental decision, one that's going to separate her from, the entire world she's ever known.
And listen to how she puts it. It was a moment of agony which must be experienced to be understood. I mean, wow. With just those few words, she's describing her final moments of freedom. This wasn't some happy, easy choice. It was, as she says, agony. That one sentence just captures the immense weight of what she's doing, and it kind of prepares us for a journey that is, well, it's anything but simple.
So we begin right there at the threshold. This first part of her story is all about that heartbreaking moment of leaving everything behind, her family, her beloved father, to cross over into this completely new, completely unknown world. And the scene she paints is just gut-wrenching. She describes kissing her entire family goodbye, one by one, and then kneeling before her crying father for his blessing, as he knelt right there beside her. Her heart, she writes, was thumping so hard she literally thought she might die. And then, slam, the doors of the convent closed, shutting her in forever.
But here's the crazy thing. The instant those doors closed, she says the agony just vanished. It was replaced by this overwhelming peace. Her dream had finally come true. And right there, you see the first big paradox of her journey, right? The absolute deepest pain and the most profound peace, somehow existing in the very same moment.
Now, you might think, okay, great, she's in, she's found her peace, end of story. But nope, her journey was really just beginning. And the reality of her new life? It was nothing like she expected, not even close. There was this immediate, really jarring clash between her dream and the reality. She had pictured this life of, and I'm quoting her here, tranquil, unruffled happiness. But what she actually found was a path strewn, again in her words, with far more thorns than roses.
And these weren't some grand, heroic struggles you might read about in a story. No, they were these small, grinding daily trials. She talks about a profound spiritual dryness, like her soul was just empty. She got scolded by a 15-year-old for missing a single cobweb, and she found she just couldn't open her heart to her superiors, which made getting spiritual direction feel like, and this is her phrase, a torture and a martyrdom.
Okay, so this period of trial, it honestly could have broken her, but it didn't. Instead, it led her to the central revelation of her entire life. She discovered this incredibly profound new purpose, not by trying to escape the suffering, but by actually embracing it.
And that really brings us to the core question, doesn't it? Why? Why would anyone willingly choose to endure all this? If that dream of peace was totally gone, what was the point of staying on this path of thorns?
Well, this is where we find her true motivation. See, her goal was never about her own personal happiness. From the very beginning, the reason she wanted to come to Carmel was to save souls and to pray for priests. Her mission was completely 100% focused on other people.
And then she had this aha moment, this profound realization. She understood that her suffering, her cross, it wasn't some obstacle getting in the way of her mission. No, it was the tool. It was the very means by which she could achieve her purpose. It was like the more it hurt, the more she believed her prayers were actually working.
Her whole perspective just flipped. She writes that the more suffering came her way, the more it actually attracted her. Can you imagine? Hardship was no longer something to run away from, but almost like a currency she could use to get her life's work done. That is a truly radical way of reframing pain. So, this incredible revelation leads us to the final and maybe the most surprising part of her whole journey. Because by embracing this incredibly difficult path, she found a kind of joy that was so much deeper than the simple peace she'd first imagined. When you look at her emotional arc, it's just remarkable, right? She starts with this intense conflict of agony and peace all at once. That gives way to the ordeal, the path of thorns. But that ordeal is what leads to the crucial turning point, finding purpose in the pain, which ultimately, and amazingly, leads to profound joy and fulfillment. And just listen to how she looks back on this time. She calls these really difficult years of martyrdom both desirable and fruitful.
Get this, she wouldn't trade them, she says, not even for the most sublime spiritual ecstasies. The struggle itself, that had become the prize.
So after this long trial period, she finally takes her permanent vows. This was it, the moment of total surrender. And with that, her transformation was pretty much sealed. It led her to a state of being that, honestly, she could never have seen coming.
And really, it all comes down to this one simple, incredibly powerful statement. After all of it, the agony, the spiritual dryness, the path of thorns, she could say, with total conviction, that she was the happiest person in the world. Think about that. She found her ultimate joy, not by finding an easy life, but by surrendering to a difficult one that had a clear and selfless purpose.
Her journey is just such a powerful testament to finding meaning in the most unlikely places, isn't it? And it kind of leaves us with a question to chew on. In our own lives, what difficult paths are we maybe avoiding that might just hold the key to our own deepest sense of purpose?